If you're an older woman and you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., do these 5 things. Waking unexpectedly between the hours of 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. is a deeply unsettling experience, particularly for older women. This isn't merely a random inconvenience or a fleeting moment of nocturnal disturbance. It is often a profound communication from your body, offering critical insights into your underlying health, emotional state, and even the trajectory of your future well-being. What many may not realize is that these early morning wake-up calls are far from trivial. They can be significant indicators that crucial processes are unfolding within you, demanding your attention and care. This comprehensive guide will delve into 5 powerful and scientifically backed strategies designed not only to illuminate the root causes behind these restless nights, but also to transform those unsettling moments of wakefulness into opportunities for profound calm, clarity, and genuine restoration. Stay with us through each insight as the wisdom shared, particularly the 4th strategy, is frequently overlooked yet holds immense potential to unlock a dramatically improved quality of sleep and foster a healthier, more balanced you. These practices are meticulously grounded in scientific understanding, promising not just better sleep, but also heightened energy levels and a significant boost to your overall emotional equilibrium. For anyone who has endured the frustrating cycle of late-night awakenings, this exploration offers a path to genuine transformation. We will uncover simple yet remarkably effective steps you can integrate into your life to soothe your body, quiet your overactive mind, and even discover unexpected moments of inspiration within those silent, early hours. Instead of passively enduring sleepless nights, let us collectively embrace these strategies, taking decisive control to fundamentally reshape your sleep habits for the enduring betterment of your life. Prepare to embark on a journey through these transformative steps which possess the capacity to redefine your relationship with sleep forever. The solutions you've been seeking, the answers to those persistent nocturnal questions, are now within your grasp, ready to be discovered and integrated into your daily rhythm. The first crucial step in navigating these early morning awakenings is to consciously avoid forcing yourself back to sleep. Instead, you must adopt a more strategic and gentle approach. Picture this all too familiar scenario. You are abruptly jolted awake in the profound stillness of the night, your body still heavy with the lingering embrace of sleep, yet your mind is now irrevocably and utterly wide awake. Your gaze instinctively falls upon the clock, and a palpable wave of panic begins to wash over you as the stark digital display glares back, perhaps reading 3:17 a.m. Your heart performs an unwelcome skip, and an internal groan echoes, "Oh no, not again!" This familiar sense of dread, like an uninvited, persistent guest, begins to creep insidiously into your consciousness. You've undoubtedly found yourself in this very predicament countless times before, haven't you? The mental calculus commences instantly, your thoughts racing uncontrollably. If I manage to fall asleep right now, I can still salvage a few hours of rest. No, wait, it's far too late for that. Perhaps just 1 more hour. Oh, why on earth can't I just sleep? Your heart thrums a frantic rhythm against your ribs, and your thoughts buzz incessantly, like a frenzied swarm of bees trapped within your skull. The more intensely you strain and will yourself to re-enter the realm of dreams, the more impossibly distant and unattainable it becomes. Does this resonate with your own experiences? This gnawing desperation, this profound frustration? It's a feeling that is deeply understood, and crucially, you are far from alone in experiencing it. Waking during the deepest hours of the night, particularly within the 3 to 5 a.m. window, is a phenomenon far more prevalent than most people truly comprehend. And remarkably, despite the immediate discomfort, it is not an insurmountable crisis. However, here lies the critical distinction. The instant you surrender to panic, allowing your thoughts to spiral into a full-blown mental meltdown over your perceived lack of sleep, you are in fact actively exacerbating the situation. It's akin to deliberately pouring accelerant onto a nascent flame that might otherwise have simply flickered out on its own. Let us pause for a moment to truly contemplate the underlying mechanisms of why this occurs, and more importantly, how you can decisively alter the trajectory of your night. Attempting to coerce yourself into sleep is fundamentally an act of trying to control the uncontrollable. It's an endeavor as futile and frustrating as herding a collection of feral cats while attempting to balance precariously on a unicycle. It's not merely irritating, it's inherently counterproductive. When you remain supine, fists clenched, mentally imploring your body to simply succumb to slumber, you are not fostering a state of calm. Quite the opposite. You are inadvertently igniting an internal storm. Stress hormones begin to flood your system, and with them, cortisol, the veritable antagonist of tranquil sleep. Cortisol, in essence, functions as your body's natural, insistent alarm clock, serving as an unyielding reminder that you are wide awake and that, whether you desire it or not, there are demands to be addressed. It manifests as that persistent, nagging inner voice that declares, "Don't even contemplate returning to sleep. Your brain is fully activated and genuine rest is simply not an option right now." Before you can even process the thought, your nervous system accelerates into a state of full-on overdrive, leaving you feeling more agitated and wired than you were at the precise moment your eyes first fluttered open. The profound irony within this struggle is undeniable. The more intensely you resist and fight against sleep, the more elusive it becomes. Therefore, the logical, liberating question arises: why not cease the struggle entirely? Why not endeavor to transform this unwelcome midnight awakening into something far less torturous, perhaps even a brief interlude of peace, or even better, a moment of unexpected productivity? Let us collectively reframe and fundamentally alter our approach to this nocturnal interruption. Begin by disengaging from the posture of defeat that so often accompanies these awakenings. It is entirely understandable and tempting to remain supine, feeling utterly helpless, eyes wide open in the suffocating darkness. However, resist this urge. Instead, gently sit up. There is no requirement for dramatic, jarring movements or to immediately transition into full daytime alertness. A simple, subtle alteration in your physical posture can send a powerful signal to your brain. This shift communicates that you are not succumbing to despair, that you are not passive or helpless, but rather that you are consciously and deliberately shifting gears. With this gentle reorientation, take a slow, deep, deliberate breath, allowing it to fully inflate your lungs and then release it with equal slowness. Inhale deeply and deliberately through your nose, mentally counting to 4. Hold that breath for a brief, intentional beat, allowing the stillness to settle. Then exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, extending the count to 6. Repeat this calming, rhythmic sequence, allowing the gentle cadence to become your anchor. This may appear deceptively simple, but it is far more than a mere calming ritual. It is a biohack, a cheat code for both your physical body and your racing mind. This slow, deliberate, rhythmic breathing directly activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which functions as a master switch designed to quell internal chaos and usher in a state of tranquility. You may not even consciously perceive it at first, but with each successive deep breath, your physical body will begin to soften, your shoulders will subtly drop, and that frantic, racing heart will gradually begin to decelerate. This isn't magic, it is simply your inherent biology diligently working in perfect synchronicity to restore your peace. Following this initial calming sequence, the next critical step involves a moment of curious self-inquiry. Genuinely ask yourself, why am I awake right now? Engage with an investigative mindset. Is your pillow, for instance, flattened to the thinness of a pancake, its supportive life force long depleted after years of unwavering service? Or perhaps your blanket is intricately twisted around your legs, holding you captive in an uncomfortable, restrictive tangle? Could it be that the ambient temperature of your room is simply too high, causing you to overheat, or conversely, too low, leaving you shivering in the pre-dawn? Chill? Did an unnoticed window crack open, allowing an unwelcome blast of cold air to invade your sanctuary in the heart of winter? These seemingly minor, often overlooked inconveniences possess an uncanny ability to surreptitiously infiltrate your sleep cycle, silently robbing you of precious rest without your conscious awareness. But here's the empowering truth. You possess the immediate agency to address these issues. Take a deliberate moment. Rise from your bed, fluff that weary pillow back to its former plumpness, meticulously untangle those restrictive sheets, and adjust the thermostat to that scientifically endorsed sweet spot for optimal sleep, typically between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Even an action as straightforward as sipping a glass of water can yield remarkable benefits. Dehydration possesses a surprisingly sneaky way of rousing us from our deepest slumber. The overarching principle here is not to remain supine in a posture of resigned defeat, feeling utterly helpless and consumed by frustration. Instead, actively reclaim control, no matter how ostensibly small the immediate steps may seem. Rectify the physical discomforts, deliberately soothe your agitated mind, and afford your body the genuine opportunity it so richly deserves to achieve restorative rest. These seemingly minor adjustments may, at first glance, appear insignificant, yet their cumulative impact on your ability to return to sleep can be profound. This entire process is fundamentally about liberating yourself from the cyclical grip of frustration and reclaiming your rightful peace of mind. You are deserving of a night filled with truly restful sleep, and the inaugural step toward achieving that involves discontinuing the internal battle, discovering a harmonious balance, and graciously allowing your body to perform its inherent natural work of repair and restoration. The second indispensable strategy for addressing these early morning awakenings is to hydrate, but critically, to hydrate smartly. Hydration is all too frequently perceived as nothing more than a mundane automatic task, an unconscious habit we engage in without much thought or intention. However, if we pause to truly contemplate its significance, hydration emerges as a remarkably powerful and profound act of self-care. It transcends the mere act of quenching thirst. It is about deeply nourishing your body, meticulously restoring equilibrium to your intricate physiological systems, and bestowing upon your physical self the deep, subtle, and often overlooked care it so profoundly requires. You may have experienced this scenario firsthand. You are suddenly awake in the profound silence of the night, the clock's stark glow revealing perhaps 3:47 a.m., and an undeniable sensation that something within you feels subtly yet persistently amiss. Perhaps you awaken with a mouth so parched it feels as if you've been persistently chewing on cotton throughout the night, or your legs are twitching uncontrollably, imbued with a strange, irreducible restlessness, defiantly refusing to settle no matter how intently you try to quiet them. Or conceivably, you lie there in bed, feeling inexplicably and uncomfortably warm, even though the ambient temperature of the room is perfectly cool and invitingly cozy. It is almost as if your body is diligently dispatching a silent, urgent alarm, yet you remain unable to precisely pinpoint the exact nature of the distress. You might dismiss it as non-serious, yet it remains undeniably unsettling. Well, here is often the subtle yet potent culprit: dehydration. It operates with a sneaky stealth, lurking quietly in the background, imperceptibly depleting your body's vital water reserves even as you sleep. And then at the critical moment of your awakening, it transforms into your body's urgent, undeniable plea for assistance. That pervasive, dry, uneasy sensation in your mouth, the inexplicable restlessness within your legs, and the unsettling, unexplainable warmth you perceive, these are all your body's desperate, unequivocal cries for water, a life-sustaining, vital liquid that it has quietly lost throughout the course of the preceding night. It is remarkably easy to neglect the importance of strategic hydration when we are ensnared in the immediate discomfort of those early morning wake-up calls. protocols. However, let us now delve into the nuanced art of smart hydration, because in the profound stillness of the night, simply guzzling down an arbitrary glass of water is far from the optimal solution. Such an unconsidered action is unlikely to provide the true rest and rejuvenation your body desperately needs. In fact, if you fail to hydrate in the precisely correct manner, you might inadvertently worsen the situation, inadvertently jolting yourself into an even greater state of wakefulness. Hydrating intelligently in the middle of the night transcends the simple act of rapidly consuming a cold glass of water. It demands intentionality regarding what you choose to consume and precisely when you consume it. When this nuanced approach is executed correctly, your body will respond with immense gratitude, gently allowing you to seamlessly slide back into a state of profound, undisturbed sleep. Herein lies a common misstep many individuals make. They instinctively reach for a glass of ice-cold water. The temptation is undeniably strong, particularly when feeling overheated or parched, to grab something refreshingly cold. Yet it is crucial to understand that chugging a beverage directly from the refrigerator when you are half asleep is akin to delivering a sharp, jolting slap to your body, abruptly rousing it from its slumbering state. Consider the delicate balance you are attempting to achieve. You are striving to coax your body back into a state of deep relaxation, to gently guide it toward that peaceful, serene calm. Then, by introducing a shock of cold liquid, your body's systems abruptly shift gears. That icy water hits your internal system with the visceral impact of a bucket of ice, jarring you definitively out of your sleepy haze, causing your muscles to instinctively tense and your mind to sharpen its focus, precisely when your sole desire is to return to the blissful oblivion of slumber. Trust in this observation. It is analogous to attempting to comfort a child who has been startled awake from a dream by shaking them, only to discover that this action merely amplifies their distress. The abrupt coldness significantly disrupts your body's delicate natural rhythm, rendering it considerably more challenging to relax and locate that sweet, elusive spot of truly deep sleep. Instead of the jarring shock of ice-cold water, what your body truly craves and responds to is water that is more harmoniously attuned to its natural internal state. Room temperature water, or even water that is ever so slightly warm, works absolute wonders. When you consume water at this more agreeable temperature, it imparts a sensation of profound comfort, akin to a gentle internal embrace. It is inherently gentle, mirroring your body's delicate needs, and critically, it transmits no alarming or jarring signals to your intricate physiological systems. When you slowly sip on room temperature water, your body does not experience the shock or the reflexive tension that accompanies extreme cold. Instead, it readily accepts the water, almost as if it were precisely what it had been patiently awaiting. This gentle hydration is profoundly nourishing, deeply restorative, and inherently calming. The most convenient aspect of this approach is its utter simplicity. You are not required to embark on a midnight pilgrimage to the kitchen in pursuit of some elaborate, fancy concoction. Simply keep a small glass or a modest bottle of water conveniently placed by your nightstand. No fuss, no undue complications, just precisely enough to gently and effectively hydrate you at the precise moment you need it most. However, it is also important to acknowledge that water alone is not always sufficient. If you have been experiencing a particularly heightened sense of restlessness or persistent unsettlement, it is highly probable that your body has been losing more than just mere water during your sleep. It has also been silently shedding crucial minerals such as sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These vital substances are the essential electrolytes that diligently work to maintain your muscles in a relaxed state, keep your nerves functioning steadily, and ensure your energy levels remain harmoniously balanced. Consider electrolytes as the quiet yet indispensable conductors orchestrating your body's complex internal symphony. When they are in perfect balance, every system operates with harmonious precision. Conversely, if your electrolyte levels are depleted, you may awaken feeling inexplicably dizzy, lightheaded, or oddly fatigued, even despite having seemingly enjoyed a full night's sleep. That faint, persistent headache, that paradoxical wired but tired sensation, and the pervasive feeling that your body just isn't quite functioning optimally. These are all potent indicators that your vital electrolytes are in dire need of a significant boost. This is precisely where a remarkably simple yet profoundly effective trick can make an immense difference. Instead of confining yourself to plain water, consider the impactful addition of a tiny pinch of high-quality sea salt to your drink. We are referring specifically to unrefined Celtic or Himalayan salt, explicitly not the processed, refined, iodized table salt commonly found in shakers. The rich spectrum of minerals present in these natural salts is far more bioavailable and can perform wonders in restoring your body's delicate electrolyte balance. A mere tiny pinch, just a few individual grains, is all that is required. The objective here is not to excessively overload your system with salt, but rather to gently and judiciously reintroduce the necessary minerals that your body has inadvertently lost while you were asleep. This subtle adjustment significantly aids in replenishing your internal system without overburdening your kidneys or inadvertently pushing your body into an undesirable state of overdrive. And if the idea of salt is unappealing, that is entirely acceptable. A modest splash of fresh lemon juice can achieve a similar effect. Not only does it impart a refreshing, tangy zest to your water, but lemon is also naturally abundant in potassium, another critical mineral that your body frequently craves. Slowly, mindfully sip your water, whether enhanced with a pinch of salt or a splash of lemon juice, and consciously allow it to gently settle into your system. Do not rush this process. Instead, grant your body the necessary time to fully absorb the hydration, to truly receive the profound nourishment it has been silently missing. This deliberate act is a genuine expression of self-kindness, an intentional decision to care for your body precisely when its need is most pronounced. And the resulting benefits are tangible and real. That persistent dry mouth, that pervasive sense of restlessness, that unsettling tightness in your legs, all of these discomforts will gradually begin to dissipate and melt away. You will perceptibly feel the return of balance to your body, and a profound sense of calm and ease will begin to envelop you. That subtle yet undeniable sense of renewal, of feeling more deeply grounded and profoundly centered, is precisely the invaluable gift you are bestowing upon yourself when you engage in thoughtful, intentional hydration. There is something inherently and deeply satisfying about nurturing yourself in such a considered manner. It is simple in its execution, yet incredibly powerful in its transformative potential. It is not merely about consuming water, it is about offering your body the precisely right kind of hydration at the optimal moment, infused with the most beneficial ingredients. It is about actively showing up for yourself, especially during those vulnerable moments when your body signals its profound need. And when you commit to these small, deliberate steps, like gently sipping room temperature water fortified with a hint of salt or a bright splash of lemon juice, you are transcending the mere act of addressing thirst. You are actively restoring your body's intricate natural balance, providing it with precisely what it genuinely needs to flourish and thrive. So the next time you awaken in the dead of night, feeling parched or plagued by restlessness, resist the impulse to indiscriminately grab the first glass you encounter. Instead, take a thoughtful moment to discern precisely what your body is truly asking for. Grant it the mindful care it so richly deserves, and observe with appreciation how dramatically smoother and more serene your return to restful sleep can become. These seemingly small acts of profound self-love possess the remarkable capacity to transform not only the quality of your nocturnal rest, but also your overarching sense of holistic well-being. The third crucial strategy involves intimately checking in with your emotions. It's 4:12 a.m. and you abruptly find yourself awake. This isn't the familiar lingering grogginess that typically pulls one from the depths of sleep, nor is it the jarring, annoying, insistent beeping of an alarm clock. No, this sensation feels distinctly different, carrying with it a profound heaviness, an undeniable, unsettling quality, as if your own body has inexplicably betrayed you, forcibly dragging you out of your previously peaceful slumber. You lie there, still enveloped by the pervasive darkness, but now the quiet itself feels almost suffocating, oppressive. A distinct weight presses down upon your chest, accompanied by a restless, pervasive hum, an almost palpable sense of unease, a vague, indescribable ache that you find yourself utterly unable to articulate into words. It isn't overtly physical. There is no acute pain, no obvious, discernible discomfort, yet something deep within your being feels profoundly askew, like a subtle but persistent, insistent tug at the very core of your heart. Perhaps it is your mind, already fully activated, relentlessly cycling through the mental reels of yesterday's events, perhaps replaying a tense, unresolved moment with a friend, a spouse, or a family member. Or conceivably, you are already consumed by a pervasive dread regarding something looming on the horizon, an impending situation that fills you with anxiety or an undefined fear. Does this resonate deeply with your experience? You recognize that feeling, that precise moment when your mind stubbornly refuses to relinquish its hold, when your emotions stir unsettlingly in the profound stillness of the night. This transcends the usual, more superficial sleep disturbances. It signifies something far deeper, something you may not have previously considered. That pervasive, restless, unsettled feeling could very well be your emotions themselves awakening alongside you, functioning as an internal alarm clock for both your heart and your mind, diligently attempting to draw your urgent attention towards something significant and unresolved within your inner landscape. In the ancient wisdom of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, emotions are not viewed as mere ephemeral states, but are understood to be deeply, intrinsically connected to the health and functioning of specific internal organs. The lungs, for a poignant example, are frequently associated with profound feelings of sadness, grief, and various forms of stress. Therefore, when you awaken in those early morning hours, burdened by a heavy heart, beset by an inexplicable restlessness, or simply feeling a pervasive, unsettling unease, it may be far more than a mere coincidence. This could be your body's deeply intuitive way of communicating that something significant is actively stirring beneath the surface of your conscious awareness, something that your mind, in the hustle and bustle of daily life, has been far too preoccupied or perhaps unwilling to acknowledge. It functions like an emotional whisper, a gentle yet persistent reminder that there is something unresolved, a silent burden you are carrying that urgently requires your compassionate attention and scrutiny. The profound stillness and silence of the night grant your body a rare and precious opportunity to bring these sequestered emotions to the forefront of your consciousness, quietly yet insistently asking you to finally listen. You may succeed in ignoring these signals for a period, attempting to push them back down, but your body, with its unwavering commitment to your holistic well-being, will tirelessly continue its attempts to communicate with you, employing subtle and at times inconvenient methods, such as rousing you from sleep at 4 a.m. when the external world is silent and your mind is left with no alternative but to finally listen. Perhaps it is an emotional weight you have been silently carrying for days, weeks, or even stretching back for many years, conceivably unresolved sadness or a lingering grief, a significant loss that you have never truly permitted yourself to fully release or process. It could also be the insidious creep of stress stemming from work, from familial responsibilities, or from the myriad burdens of daily life, pressures that weigh heavily upon you but which you habitually push aside, rationalizing that you simply lack the time or capacity to adequately deal with them. Perhaps it is that crucial email you never managed to send, or that argument with a loved one that was never entirely or genuinely resolved. Whatever its specific manifestation, your body possesses an innate wisdom. It inherently knows it is there, lurking just beneath the veneer of your conscious awareness, even if your rational mind actively attempts to bury it. It is Precisely when the external world becomes still, when the ceaseless noise and demands of daily life are finally quieted, that these powerful, unaddressed feelings can no longer remain concealed. In the profound, quiet hours of the early morning, your body effectively forces you to confront them, bringing them inexorably to your consciousness, whether you feel ready to face them or not. In the realm of contemporary science, this ancient wisdom finds compelling echoes, even if articulated in different terminologies. Extensive studies consistently demonstrate that emotional overload and chronic stress can profoundly disrupt your sleep patterns. It's not merely that you struggle to initiate sleep, rather your body exists in a heightened state of physiological alertness even during periods when it should ideally be deeply resting and repairing. Intriguingly, the period during which this accumulated stress tends to reach its peak often coincides with the early morning hours, a time when your brain is diligently, if unconsciously, sorting through the emotional baggage accumulated throughout the preceding day. Whether you are consciously aware of it or not, the emotions that you have consciously or unconsciously suppressed and compartmentalized during the busy, demanding hours of the day invariably rise to the surface during these quiet nocturnal periods, often amplified by the profound stillness and solitude. Have you ever observed how your problems seem to swell in magnitude, appearing vastly more daunting and insurmountable when you are lying wide awake at 3 or 4 a.m. compared to how they felt just hours earlier? It is as if your mind, unburdened by external distractions, is actively amplifying them, rendering them more overwhelming, more insurmountable than they might have appeared the evening before. This phenomenon is your mind diligently processing all the myriad things you did not possess the time or mental space to confront during the day. All the accumulated emotional weight you have been silently carrying, now pressing in upon you with an insistent, undeniable force. So, what precisely should you do when you find yourself wide awake in the profound stillness of the night, feeling the oppressive weight of the world heavy upon your chest, burdened by emotions that seem too vast and unwieldy to manage? The very last thing you should do is remain supine, passively allowing these feelings to fester and grow disproportionately larger. Do not permit the silence of the night to become a fertile breeding ground for your most profound fears and anxieties. Do not allow your thoughts to spiral uncontrollably into an overwhelming, tangled mess of what-ifs and why-me's. Instead, take a deliberate, compassionate moment to truly check in with your inner self. Gently sit up, carefully propping a pillow behind you for comforting support, and consciously allow yourself the necessary space to simply breathe deeply and intentionally. It may initially feel somewhat unnatural, perhaps even counterintuitive, but pose these sincere questions to yourself. What is truly occupying my mind right now? What am I carrying with me that steadfastly refuses to allow me to rest? These are not questions that demand immediate, definitive answers. This is not about instantaneously formulating a perfect solution. Rather, it is about the profound, empowering act of acknowledging that something significant is stirring within you and granting it explicit permission to rise to the surface. This deceptively simple act of recognition is incredibly powerful because it fundamentally breaks the destructive cycle of ignoring what your heart and mind are desperately attempting to communicate. If you feel comfortable and inclined, reach for a pen and a piece of paper and simply begin to write. Do not concern yourself with the immediate coherence or logical sense of what emerges. Simply allow the words to flow freely from your innermost thoughts onto the page, even if they appear fragmented, messy, or profoundly confusing. It is entirely inconsequential if you articulate something as ostensibly simple as, "I'm still upset with Jen," or "I deeply miss how things used to be," or perhaps even something more abstract, like, "Why do I feel so utterly alone?" Whatever thoughts spontaneously arise, commit them to paper. The fundamental purpose of this exercise is not to meticulously solve the problem in that very moment, but rather to effect a conscious release of its oppressive grip from your mind. The act of writing it down takes that internal chaos, that tumultuous mental chatter, and transforms it, giving it a tangible external form. It absolutely does not need to be perfect, nor does it require any semblance of neatness or elegant prose. This entire process is exclusively about creating a safe, designated space for yourself to genuinely process your feelings, to assign a name and a form to them, thereby preventing them from remaining trapped within you, perpetually growing larger and more insistent with each passing solitary moment. By simply acknowledging what you are profoundly feeling, you initiate the crucial process of breaking the power these emotions wield over you. You begin the invaluable task of regaining control, not necessarily over the external problem itself, but over your internal empowering response to it. You have, in that very moment, taken the inaugural, courageous step toward alleviating the burdensome weight of whatever is steadfastly keeping you awake, and in that profound act, you have already commenced the vital process of healing. You are not obligated to possess all the definitive answers, nor are you required to have a perfectly formulated plan for immediate resolution. Sometimes the sheer act of acknowledging the oppressive weight of your emotions, granting them the much-needed space to breathe, and externalizing them from the confines of your own head can prove to be far more profoundly powerful and healing than any immediate, hastily conceived solution. It is an intrinsic moment of profound self-compassion, a gentle yet firm reminder that you are deserving of the right to feel, to process, and to heal, not merely when it is convenient or socially acceptable, but especially when the unyielding quietude of the night compels you to squarely face what you have, perhaps unconsciously, been meticulously avoiding. So the next time that familiar, restless feeling begins to stir within you in the encompassing darkness, do not instinctively flee from it. Instead, lean into its presence. Allow it to gently guide you toward the profound peace and illuminating clarity that you so fundamentally deserve. The fourth transformative strategy is to move gently, thereby consciously resetting your body. It's 4:23 a.m. once more. You roll over, eyes wide open, fixated on the clock's cold, almost accusatory glow. You attempt to adjust your position, pulling the blankets closer, but they seem to possess a stubborn will of their own, only entangling themselves tighter around you, a chaotic, messy knot that unsettlingly mirrors the tangled, frantic state of your mind. Every toss and turn fails to bring relief. Instead, it only fuels a steadily growing frustration. Why, you silently scream, can't I just sleep? Why does it feel as though my own body is actively warring against the very thing it so desperately needs? It's a sensation you know intimately, far too well. The clock itself seems to mock your predicament, each solitary tick echoing with an unsettling reverberation in your restless mind. Time itself seems to drag with an agonizing slowness, and the more vehemently you attempt to force yourself into a state of absolute stillness, the more determinedly your body seems to rebel. Your neck feels stiff, almost locked in place. Your legs twitch uncontrollably, imbued with a strange, irreducible energy, and your mind spins ceaselessly in an endless, looping cycle of frustration and bewildering confusion. Why, you plead silently, can I not find any measure of peace here? Herein lies the profound truth. Remaining glued to the mattress, stewing in that uncomfortable, agitated funk, only serves to significantly worsen the situation. The more intensely you attempt to force yourself to fall back asleep, the deeper you inadvertently dig yourself into that restless, exasperating hole of wakefulness. You've likely experienced this cycle countless times before, feeling utterly stuck, helpless, and consumed by frustration. But here's a small, empowering secret. You absolutely do not have to remain trapped in that state. Your body, in its profound wisdom, is craving a reset, but it isn't demanding a strenuous marathon run or an intense, sweat-inducing workout. No, what it truly needs is a gentle, soothing nudge, a subtle invitation to release the accumulated tension and gracefully ease back into a state of profound calm. It's a remarkably simple process, so straightforward that it almost feels like a form of physiological cheating, but trust in its efficacy. It genuinely works. Begin by entirely discarding the ingrained notion that you must lie in a state of absolute stillness, rigidly attempting to compel yourself into quiescence when your body is already vibrating with an internal wired energy. This endeavor is akin to trying to grasp water with your bare hands. It simply slips through your fingers. Instead, gently sit up. No dramatic, jarring movements are necessary. Simply shift your position with deliberate softness. Prop yourself comfortably against the headboard, or if it feels more natural and relieving, gently swing your legs over the side of the bed, allowing your feet to connect with the floor. The essence of this action lies in explicitly granting yourself permission to move, to acknowledge that absolute stillness is not always the appropriate or effective answer when your body is already brimming with restless, unspent energy. Start by directing your mindful attention to your neck. The probability is high that it feels locked up, stiff from hours of potentially awkward or unsupportive sleep positions. Gently, mindfully roll your neck. First, allow your chin to softly drop toward your chest, feeling a gentle, elongating stretch along the back of your spine. Then, with deliberate slowness, tilt your head to the right, permitting your ear to softly descend toward your shoulder. Take a deep, expansive breath inward as you hold this position, then exhale slowly and completely as you gently roll your head to the left side. Repeat this sequence several times, intentionally easing the palpable tension from your shoulders as you execute each movement. You may begin to perceive the tightness melting away, those muscles that have been coiled up like a taut spring, perpetually ready to snap, finally beginning to yield and release. This is your body's unspoken way of communicating profound gratitude for finally listening to its subtle cues. Next, actively engage with those shoulders. If you are like the majority of individuals, your shoulders are likely hunched up close to your ears, unconsciously carrying the invisible weight of your day, your persistent worries, and that ever-expanding mental to-do list. So take another deep cleansing breath and consciously lift your shoulders toward your ears, as if you are attempting to touch the ceiling. Then with an audible soft exhale, slowly and deliberately release them downward. Repeat this motion 3 or 4 times, intentionally pairing each movement with a deep, deliberate breath. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you release. Each time you let go, you are sending a clear, unequivocal message to your body that it is permissible to cease holding on so tightly. The minor cracking sounds or subtle pops you might hear are not causes for concern. They are simply your body's natural and often audible way of releasing the accumulated tension it has been silently storing, and unequivocally, it provides a palpable sense of relief for your entire interconnected system. Now let's actively stimulate your circulation. If you are not already seated on the edge of your bed, gently move to that position. Attempt a gentle seated forward fold. Do not overexert yourself. This is not an intense yoga session. Simply hinge gently at your hips, allowing your hands to slide naturally toward your knees or the floor, and just passively hang there for a few serene seconds. It is akin to offering your spine a soft, stretching sigh. Allow your muscles to completely relax and release any residual tightness that has accumulated from remaining in a horizontal position for an extended period. By encouraging blood flow to your lower back, you are actively assisting in alleviating that cooped-up sensation that frequently arises from maintaining one position for hours. While you are in this position, take a series of deep, intentional breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, and then exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, consciously feeling your rib cage expand and your entire body soften with each breath. This deliberate, deep breathing sends a profound message to your nervous system. It's okay, we are safe here. It is an explicit invitation to your body to release the stress that has been steadily accumulating throughout the day. Finally, consciously shake out that restless energy. Lift one leg at a time, nothing excessively wild or dramatic, just a light, gentle jiggle. Imagine you are lightly shaking off water from your feet after a refreshing swim. This might initially feel a little silly or awkward, but trust in its effectiveness. It genuinely works. You have been holding on to that twitchy, restless energy for far too long, so dedicate a few seconds to each leg, allowing the tension to visibly dissolve from your calves and thighs. If your legs have been persistently bouncing with that pervasive, restless energy, this simple action is your most effective trick to calm them down. If your hands or feet feel noticeably cold, this is another distinct sign that your circulation is in need of some immediate assistance. When your extremities are chilly, it can be considerably more challenging for your entire body to fully relax. So quickly rub your hands together, generating warmth as if you are attempting to start a small fire. Then cup them gently over your feet, imparting a soothing warmth to them. It's a rapid, simple fix, yet it can make a profound difference in persuading your body to relax sufficiently to gently drift back into a restorative state of sleep. And remarkably, science emphatically backs this up. Research consistently shows that when your hands and feet are warm, your body is capable of falling asleep much faster. This is because your body's core temperature naturally drops just prior to the onset of sleep, and toasty extremities actively assist in facilitating this crucial process. Thus, a warm hand or a warm foot acts as a gentle yet powerful signal to your brain. We are now ready to rest. These small, gentle, intentional movements may appear insignificant on the surface, but they serve as a quiet, powerful reminder to your body that it inherently deserves to unwind, to release the stress it has been diligently holding onto, and to let go of the pervasive tension that has been steadfastly keeping you awake. Grant yourself the invaluable gift of this single-minute reset and allow your body to express its profound gratitude. The fifth and final strategy for achieving restful sleep is to calm your brain with the power of sound. There you are again, staring fixedly at the ceiling at 3:58 a.m., feeling as though your mind has unilaterally decided it's prime time to run an exhaustive marathon. Thoughts are ricocheting wildly like hyperactive ping-pong balls inside your skull. Did I remember to lock the back door? What exactly is the critical agenda for that important meeting tomorrow morning? Why, oh why, did I utter that ridiculous, utterly cringe-worthy comment way back in 2019? You desperately attempt to tell yourself to relax, to quiet the internal clamor, but the more intensely you try to hush your own mind, the louder, more insistent, and chaotic the internal noise becomes. You are irrevocably wide awake, trapped in what feels like an endless, exhausting cycle of overthinking, desperately yearning for a solitary moment of genuine peace. Instead, you remain stuck, and the sweet, promised release of sleep feels like a tantalizingly distant, unattainable dream. Does this scenario resonate deeply with your own experience? It is a universally understood frustration. When your mind shifts into this relentless overdrive, attempting to forcibly settle it down is about as effective as trying to tame a raging tornado with nothing more than a flimsy paper fan. It is an incredibly, soul-crushingly frustrating experience, isn't it? But here's the empowering truth. It fundamentally does not have to be this way. There exists a trick, a profoundly soothing remedy that demands absolutely no willpower on your part. You no longer need to engage in an internal battle with yourself. You simply need to tap into the often underestimated gentle power of sound. I can assure you, the precisely right kind of sound can act as a gentle, comforting, almost parental hand that lovingly lulls your runaway, chaotic thoughts back into a state of profound, peaceful slumber. Immediately forget about the instinctive urge to reach for your phone. I recognize the powerful temptation, especially in our hyper-connected age of endless scrolling and digital stimulation. But this is an insidious trap. The fleeting dopamine rush you derive from scrolling through social media or news feeds only serves to further fuel your mind's already hyperactive state, inexorably dragging you further and further away from the elusive embrace of sleep. Instead, let us consciously direct our focus toward a select few sonic shortcuts that are expertly designed to help you relax deeply and drift off to sleep far faster than you could ever utter the phrase, "Insomnia, be gone." First on this curated list is the phenomenon of pink noise. Now, you are likely already familiar with white noise. Think of the sound of static on an old television left on a dead channel. It's often described as a blanket of sound, but let's be honest, it can often feel a little harsh, perhaps even aggressively sterile. Pink noise, on the other hand, is its gentler, more sleep-loving cousin. Imagine the profoundly calming, rhythmic sound of rain softly tapping against your window pane, the subtle, comforting rustle of wind as it gently weaves its way through the leaves of trees, or the timeless, rhythmic ebb and flow of distant ocean waves. There is something inherently soothing, something deeply grounding about these natural sounds, isn't there? It is as if they are nature's own lullaby, custom designed to bring tranquility to an agitated mind. The distinction between pink and white noise, while subtle, is profoundly important in its impact. Pink noise intelligently softens those higher-pitched tones, enveloping you in a warmer, more profoundly soothing cocoon of sound. Why does this unique auditory phenomenon work so effectively? Science unequivocally informs us that pink noise possesses the remarkable ability to synchronize perfectly with the natural fluctuating rhythms of your brainwaves. It gently nudges them into the slower, more relaxed frequencies that are intrinsically associated with deep, truly restorative sleep. A significant study conducted at Northwestern University in 2017 provided compelling evidence that pink noise doesn't merely facilitate better sleep, it also demonstrably enhances your memory retention the very next day. Can you truly conceive of the transformative experience of awakening feeling profoundly refreshed, your mind clear and sharp, genuinely ready to embrace the day ahead with renewed vigor? It is a complete game changer for your entire life. I personally make it a habit to always keep a small portable speaker or a downloaded pink noise track readily accessible. The key is to keep the volume incredibly low, barely a whisper, allowing the soft, steady, rhythmic sound of rain or ocean waves to gently blur your racing thoughts into a peaceful, indistinguishable haze. Now, if pink noise for whatever reason doesn't quite resonate with you, or if you find yourself in the mood for something a little more structured and guided, there is always the incredibly effective option of a short sleep meditation. We are not, it must be emphasized, referring to arduous, hour-long Zen marathons here. Rather, we are discussing a brief, targeted 5 to 10 minute session meticulously designed to gently guide you into a settled state. Picture this comforting scenario: a calm, reassuring voice, perhaps reminiscent of the soothing presence of Morgan Freeman, gently leading you through a structured relaxation exercise. Your focus will be directed first to your breath, and then systematically you will be guided to consciously relax each distinct part of your body, commencing with your toes, gradually moving up to your ankles, your calves, and so forth in a deliberate, unhurried progression. It is almost like a beautifully narrated bedtime story, specifically crafted for adults, a quiet internal escape from the pervasive noise and demands of the external world. And the most compelling aspect of this technique is its undeniable efficacy. It works precisely because it provides your busy, overactive brain with a simple, almost deliberately boring task to perform, something so inherently calm and repetitive that it effectively tires your mind, preventing it from spiraling uncontrollably into anxious worry and persistent mental chatter. The guiding voice in this context becomes your lifeline, gently yet firmly pulling your attention away from the chaotic mental chatter and skillfully bringing you back to the sanctuary of your bed, your designated safe space. You are not required to download any expensive proprietary applications for this. You might be genuinely surprised by the sheer abundance of high-quality, free resources available on platforms like YouTube or various podcast channels. Just ensure prior to settling in that you carefully select recordings that are devoid of sudden, jarring advertisements or overly loud, startling introductions. Any such interruptions would inevitably disrupt your delicate attempts at relaxation. Test out various options beforehand. Find one that profoundly resonates with you and always keep the volume intentionally soft. just loud enough to comfortably discern the voice, but certainly not loud enough to jar you back into full wakefulness. The overarching key to success here is to surrender to the guidance of the voice, allowing it to slowly, gently, and deliberately lead you out of your chaotic racing thoughts and back into the profound, peaceful embrace of truly restful sleep. Isn't it quite remarkable how something as ostensibly simple as sound can wield such transformative power over the entirety of your night? The next time you find yourself wide awake in the unsettling middle of the night, I wholeheartedly encourage you to give these powerful techniques a sincere and dedicated try. I have personally discovered that they work absolute wonders, consistently calming the most agitated mind and skillfully guiding you directly into the profound, peaceful sleep that you so inherently deserve. It is akin to offering your overstimulated brain a much-needed mini-retreat, a brief, restorative sanctuary from the incessant hustle and bustle of the world. Trust in this process, you profoundly deserve this restorative peace. As we bring today's comprehensive discussion to a close, I invite you to take a moment for profound reflection on the intricate subjects we have diligently explored together. We have delved deeply into the fundamental and undeniable connection between our complex emotional landscape and the nuanced responses of our physical body, uncovering how the quiet, often vulnerable moments, particularly those in the early hours of the morning, possess the remarkable capacity to reveal profound truths about aspects of ourselves that we might consciously or unconsciously be avoiding, suppressing, or neglecting. We have learned crucially that instead of allowing these powerful emotions to fester internally, amplifying their disruptive potential, we can proactively choose to engage in a moment of conscious introspection, a deliberate check-in with our inner selves. We have discovered the liberating power of externalizing what weighs heavily on our minds, whether through the simple act of writing it down or through mindful contemplation, thereby enabling us to release those heavy, burdensome feelings. It is a deceptively simple, yet immensely powerful practice that holds the potential to make a world of difference in how we manage and navigate the omnipresent challenges of stress, sadness, and overwhelming emotional load. This holistic approach empowers you to understand your body's whispers and respond with informed, gentle care.